links. In case you haven't heard about it yet, the same source that leaked the entire Season 7 has finally got its hands around some Season 8 info. The source is Freaky Doctor, whose channel you can visit by clicking the links in the description down below. Last year, this guy shared the entire Season 7 plot, claiming it's legit leaks, and as most of you know, it turned out to be 100% accurate. Freaky Doctor finally got some more information regarding the final season and shared it a couple of days ago. It's about the final plot twist of the series that will take place in the Season 8 finale. It's about Tyrion Lannister, whose intelligence, humor and wit made him fans' favorite character. However, he will apparently end as a traitor and will face a trial at the Dragon Pit for that, which will result with his death. In details, Freaky Doctor says that in the charge of a trial is Sir Davos Seavert, accompanied with all the Starks, Sansa Arya and Bran Stark. There are also Samuel Tarly, Brienne of Tarth, Robin Arryn and two new characters, one of them wearing a golden armor. Grey Worm the Unsullied will also be there with a group of the Unsullied, guarding Tyrion Lannister. Tyrion is being on a trial for betraying Dany or his family. Freaky Doctor says that Bran Stark will use his greenside powers during his trial and take us back to the first season. Bran will recall something Tyrion said to his mother Catelyn Stark in the first season. It's Tyrion's statement that he would never bet against his family. There's another thing we know. Tyrion will say they deserve it, implying that the people of King's Landing deserve to die. Tyrion is full of anger. The most dramatic moment of the trial will be Tyrion falling on his knees in the middle of the speech, dragged down by his actions. He also will not be able to ask for a trial by combat. Freaky Doctor doesn't know how Tyrion will be executed because, unlike the trial, his death wasn't filmed in Seville but in the studio. He also mentions that there will not be much of a snow at the Dragon Pit as most of it already melted down at this point of the season, meaning that winter is most likely over by the time Tyrion is being under the trial. There's one more info, but it's more of a rumor than a legit leak. It says that while Tyrion is being judged, Winterfell is being reconstructed. Okay, Tyrion is a traitor and is being judged in the Game of Thrones finale. He has betrayed Dany and has sided with his family. But how is it possible, one might ask, while in truth it's all been happening before our eyes? As most of us will claim, Tyrion has done everything he could to aid in the rise of Daenerys Targaryen, the queen he believes can bring stability to Westeros. Her cause is the one he believes in. He tried to keep her from making rash, violent decisions so that she can be seen as the ruler the realm needs. But has he truly been fighting for the best for Daenerys? Has he really been making decisions that would bring Dany one step closer towards the throne? Just the opposite. Tyrion's been fighting for House Lannister throughout the entire Season 7 and we've all witnessed it. Let me explain it. Because of Tyrion and his war plans, Dany has lost most of her allies and her strength has drastically decreased. Due to Tyrion and his plans, Dany has lost Dorne and the Iron Islands to Euron and Cersei. Tyrion's strategy to take Casterly Rock was a disaster as well. The Unsullied took the fortress, but the fortress was severely undermanned as most of the Lannister garrison has left the castle and attacked Highgarden, destroying another Dany's ally and taking all the food and gold. Tyrion was basically outwitted by his brother Jaime Lannister. It's also worth mentioning that the Unsullied left Casterly Rock by the time all the lords, kings and queens met at the Dragon Pit, making Tyrion's plan once again meaningless. The final proposal Tyrion had for Dany was to bring the dead to Cersei Lannister to win her support.
She thinks the army of the dead is nothing but a story, made up by wet nurses to frighten children. What if we prove her wrong?
I don't think she'll come see the dead at my invitation.
So bring the dead to her. Bring one of these things down to King's Landing and show her the truth.
This resulted with the death of a dragon, and with Cersei still not giving a concern about the White Walkers. All these Tyrion's plans resulted with the food and the gold being unprotected and basically left for Cersei to take it, which she did. Tyrion's plans also resulted with an opportunity for Cersei to wipe out most of Dany's allies, which she also did. Is it possible that Tyrion is being outsmarted by Cersei and Jaime even though he's said to be the smartest Lannister? Is it really a coincidence that all Tyrion's plans made more damage than good for Dany? I don't think so, and here's why. Tyrion, whose wit, intellect and keen mind for strategy was seemingly without peer, arrived at Westeros as Dany's hand with one of the greatest armies that Westeros has ever seen. If he wanted to, Tyrion could have secured the throne for Dany and make her army stronger than ever, but he did just the opposite and with a purpose to make his family the most powerful once again. One might ask, but could we be giving too much credit to Tyrion and his abilities? Perhaps Tyrion is not so smart after all, and all the plans he made were not intended to fail and make Dany weaker, while at the same time making House Lannister stronger, one would say. But I highly doubt that's the case. This is what George R. R. Martin, the one who wrote this character, had to say about Tyrion Lannister. So basically Martin had this idea for a character for one of his books to be the lord that had to be the ugliest person in the world, but at the same time the most intelligent as well. This idea reappeared to him when he was writing Game of Thrones, and this character came to life with Tyrion Lannister. Long story short, the only way for Cersei and Jaime to appear as the winning side against these odds would be if Tyrion was still fighting for his family, if he decided to spare their lives. And according to the new leaks, they're most likely 100% legit, that's exactly the case. It may still sound ridiculous to some of you, but there are some additional clues that Tyrion has betrayed Dany. Tyrion prides himself on his ability to read people as easily as he does books, and has on many occasions easily gotten better off not just Joffrey and Cersei but also experienced players such as Littlefinger. Did he really believe Cersei when she said that she will send help north to aid the living in the Great War against the Night King? The answer is no. Matter of fact, Cersei and Tyrion made this decision together. Let me explain how that took place. In the Season 7 finale's opening moments, Jon Snow was presented with the opportunity to earn a promise of peace from Cersei. He instead chooses to remain loyal to Dany. Tyrion in particular was upset with Jon, explaining that sometimes there's a value in telling someone you'll give them what they want even if you don't plan on actually doing so. Which is exactly what Tyrion and Cersei did later in that episode, with Cersei promising to aid them in the Great War. Anyways, a tense meeting between Cersei and Tyrion followed, but it's what happened off screen that matters the most. Throughout the meeting, Tyrion even confessed that he's the one preventing House Lannister from falling, which he surely did with all the war plans he made while knowing they would fail. All that I already explained earlier in this video. Tyrion is smart, and all the plans he made, he saw through them and he saw the outcome. Everything he did it with a purpose, and that's to prevent House Lannister from falling, to make it stronger. Anyways, after professing his love for Cersei's deceased children and realizing his sister was pregnant, Tyrion softens just before the camera cuts away from the scene altogether. The next time we see two characters is during their return to the Dragon Pit. Cersei is suddenly willing to help Jon and Dany in their battle against the White Walkers. So to be clear, Tyrion said to read people and their intentions as easily as he reads books, which has been proven right multiple times throughout the series, but he fails to read through Cersei. He fails to read through Cersei's intention, and he believes Cersei will send help. Tyrion and Cersei most likely made a deal on their meeting exactly when the camera cut away, and it's Tyrion who told Cersei to agree with Jon and Dany and to promise them the help in the wars to come. Having earlier in the same episode seen Tyrion emphasize the value of a good lie to Jon Snow, it's reasonable to believe he'd stress this to his sister behind closed doors. Tyrion cut a deal with Cersei. He knew she wasn't going to go north and he told her to lie about it. Even the scene in which Cersei reveals her true intention to Jaime could be seen as a proof that Tyrion has already betrayed Dany. Cersei says to Jaime, "You were always the dumbest Lannister." This is in reference to him falling for a lie. But Tyrion was also there and is also a Lannister. If he fell for a lie as well, it would be an odd phrase for her to use. I feel like her attitude and phrasing implies that Tyrion was in on the lie. Basically, Tyrion works for the best of his family, and it will most likely be exposed with Bran and his visions. What we know for certain is that Tyrion will have a trial for his treason over Dany and he will die. This Tyrion's betrayal might have even been foretold in a prophecy in the books. In the George R. R. Martin novels that inspired Game of Thrones, Dany hears a prophecy in the House of the Undying that leads her to believe she will face 3 key betrayals. The prophecy says 3 treasons will you know, once for blood and once for gold and once for love. While this exact prophecy never made it into the show, the betrayal certainly did. In Season 1, Mir Mazdur killed her unborn son to save Drogo's life. This is a treason for blood since Mir betrayed her in revenge for the attack on her village, and the ritual only returns Drogo to a vegetative state while causing her son to die in her womb. Jorah betrayed Dany for gold as he spied on Dany for King Robert, hired by Varys in exchange for gold. The only one treason left is the one for love, and that'd be Tyrion, marking the biggest plot twist of the series. Beside Dany's love for Tyrion that fulfills that part of the prophecy, Dany's also been warned in the novel A Dance with Dragons not to trust Tyrion with this prophecy. Soon comes the Pale Mare, and after her the others. Kraken and Dark Flame, Leon and Griffin, the Sun's Son and the Mummer's Dragon. Trust none of them. Remember the Undying. Beware of the perfumed Seneschal. Lion House Lannister sigil is widely accepted to be Tyrion Lannister. All these clues and hints, along with the most reliable source releasing Season 8 leaks that claim that Tyrion is going to be in the season finale under a trial for his treason, makes this huge plot twist almost a certain thing. Thus